Kulana, Kokoleka Farm. Okay? Ukulele. You know why they call it an ukulele? Ukus are head lice. All kids get head lice when they're little, and they go this. So they call it ukulele because that's how you play a ukulele. That's where it got its name, from head lice. Truth. E como mai. E como mai. That means welcome. And I want to say that this is the farm I created back in 2007. There were 71 prominent Kauai guys that bought 105 acres in Kulana, the subdivision, and we got it going there for a short time, and then the developers stole all the money and moved to Thailand. So what happened to us is we formed an AOAO, and I was told to create a management company, which I did. And what we were able to do over a period from 2007 to today, there are still problems in trying to get houses built on that subdivision. I did not live on the subdivision. So I decided just to farm the area that I bought because it's an agricultural subdivision, and I decided to do something with it. And so we created Kokoleka Chocolate. Kokoleka means chocolate in Hawaiian. And let's see if I can do all this. Okay, cacao. Theobroma cacao, food of the gods. All right, 1500 BC in the lowlands of the Gulf of Mexico, in America appeared the Olmec civilization. 1000 BC, the word cacao was written, which is the sound we use for cacao. Maya called prepared drink from coca beans. That's the word. Aztecs, the Mexican Indian word chocolate, comes from the combination of choco, foam, atol, water. Early chocolate was only consumed by beverages, and it was consumed only on very, very special occasions. And mostly all the royalty alone was given the opportunity to drink this. Okay. From cacao to chocolate. Now cacao, now you've heard of cocoa. Somewhere along the line, somebody misspelled cacao on a shipment from South America to Europe. And so somehow the word cocoa was born. But it's still, cacao is the correct term for the pods from which chocolate is made. Okay. To give you an idea, to start with growth. It takes 3 years from the time you plant a tree to the time it will start to produce pods. You then go to harvesting, ripe pods every 2 weeks throughout the year. And you'll be able to determine whether or not a pod is ripe by scratching the surface. If it's green, it's not ripe. If it's yellow, you can harvest the pod.
Is it in a bean?
I'm going to show you a picture of it, all right? I tried very hard to get a cacao pod sent to me. So it's illegal to ship fruit from Hawaii unless you go through all kinds of machinations, all right? So I bought the pods from Amazon, and they sent it to me, and they were rotten, okay? My daughter said, "Dad, don't open them up, okay, because you're going to see a lot of crazy stuff." But this is a rotted pod, okay? You'll see more pictures of that as we go along. But it was really disheartening that when I got them this week, I had to send them back. We opened the pods with this, all right? This is what my little Sabrina would use to smack the pod and open them up. You'll see pictures of it. Okay, so the process, what we're going to go through here is the harvesting and then fermenting. It takes several days to a week to ferment correctly. Then you have to dry them until 88% of the moisture inside the beans is taken out of. Roasting, that has to be just like coffee roasting. It has to be roasted. And then we end up grinding, splitting the beans open, winnowing off the shells, conching, combine the ribs and sugar, it's making it into a liqueur, and then tempering, rising and lowering the temperature, and I'll explain that, and the chocolate, to correct the chocolate consistency, so it'll snap, okay? Okay, Um, planting. This is how I created the seedlings. All right. 2-foot plastic bags filled with earth, rich earth. Hawaiian volcanic red soil allows for a unique, one-of-a-kind chocolate with an exotic flavor found nowhere else in the world. I need some water. I'll see if the girl. Yeah, pass one down.
Another table.
Thank you so much, everybody. I am a little nervous. Yes, that's my farm. That's my farm.
Did you say that you still own it, or someone else owns it now?
I just sold it to a lady who just sent me the chocolate bars that you're going to experience that came from our farm. She's learning how to do it. I'll explain it to you in a minute. But yes, I started this, and we would break open the pods, take out the seeds, put them in there, and I can tell you a little bit about that in a minute. In Africa and South America, because of the intense heat there, they usually plant along the rows of the cacao, Madre de Cacao, mother of cacao trees. What these do is provide nitrogen and shade, because cacaos don't like heavy sun. But on Kauai, the temperature never goes above 86, and the sun is not that intense. So it's one of the things one of the reasons why we decided that cacao and Kauai was the North Pole of planting cacao, chocolate. Okay, these starts are about 5 months old. Once the jungle is cleared, then we start planting, and you can see that we cover the starts with plastic because of the mealybugs and other spider mites and aphids. The young trees are very susceptible to that. And here we have, these are drip lines, starting to put in drip lines. You can see the drip lines. And we would have a 6,500 gallon tank up at the top of the hill, and we would pump water from a ditch that was created by Chinese workers hundreds of years ago when they were imported to grow pineapple, and that didn't work out so well. So I'll explain later what we had to do. Well, I can do it now. What we had to do was, there's a stream where those banana trees are, and what we had to do was dig a ditch under the ground, across the road. There was no road there at the time. Under the ground with PVC pipe and down into a ditch, and we would pump the water out of the ditch underground to the trees, and then we had sprinkler systems set up after a while. But that took 5 years to do. Okay, that's the lower area where we were planting. It's really beautiful, as you can see. That's my fat butt right there, and this was back in 2010 or 11, something like that, when we were getting started.
How many of those did you say you had?
1,000 trees eventually. Okay, that's when the jungle got cleared, and we would put in each start, we would put 60-15-0 nitrogen that would be soluble, and put it in with the start, because cacao loved nitrogen. Okay. There was a hillside, the top of the hill. That's where the seedlings were up there, and then we would plant along. We created this whole thing along the side of the hill, and we had to use every inch of space we could to grow in order to be successful. This is the ditch and the pump from the ditch. We created a dam, which didn't work very, very well, but that ditch was over 100 years old. Okay, pods in the trees. In 3 years, the pods begin to appear, and the pods grow mostly on the trunk, either the trunk or the extended branches of the tree. Okay, there should be another one. Let's see. Yes, a tree usually, not every tree produces. So this happens to be a really good tree, and every other tree would be as fulfilled like this. And those pods are this size. Harvesting, okay? We would harvest at least 3 times a week, and a pod, like I said, a pod is ripe when you scratch it, and if it's yellow, we are able to harvest it. We collect them in these boxes. I would go to at Costco, and get boxes, and now we use their boxes for harvesting.
Is the Costco in Hawaii?
We have a Costco, believe it or not. You know, just in fact, my cleaning business, this was not a full-time job, by the way. This was something we just did to use the land because we couldn't live on it. But my construction cleaning business, I opened Costco, Safeway, UPS. I opened, what was the other one? Sports Authority, and the new Target. I did and up on the North Shore, my company did all the construction cleaning for all the condominiums up there. Anyway, so now I'm going to click this again. Let's see if this works. Hard working girls at the end of the day, huh? Okay, these girls are from France. They are woofers. Okay, you know what a woofer is? Okay, Worldwide Organization of Organic Farmers. Okay, you're on the website throughout the world, and people look at the young ladies, young guys. I chose girls because I have a daughter at home, and these girls would come and spend 4 months living with me at my house and work 4 hours a day on the farm. They would go off on weekends and explore the whole island, and we had a great time with all these kids. These kids happen to be from France. This is Ute. She's from Germany. And the girl in the middle there was from Switzerland. And they did all the harvesting for me. They did the cutting of the pruning of the trees. They were fantastic people. We had a lot of fun over the years with kids from all different countries. Okay, this is when you open a pod. This is what it looks like. Okay? They are very succulent. The beans are very succulent. I'm sorry I can't open this one for you. No, I did not take this picture. But it happens to be a picture that's pretty much exactly what we did, okay? So I would pass, when I did little tours, in fact, the whole object of this project was not just to make chocolate, but it was to do tours, okay? At tours, there's a farm right up the street from me. They own their own property, and the father has been there for all his life. And so the boy took it over, and they're doing tours, and they're doing 30 people a day at $100 a day cash, 7 days a week. And it's only 4 hours. So you can imagine the money that's there. They're very successful. And that's what I had planned to do. But the problem with the Kulana subdivision and all the stuff that went on there, it got to the point 3 years ago when I decided I'm done. Anyway, these are the girls that are right now. They're cutting open the pods, and they're preparing to do the fermenting. This is Sabrina holding that pod. That was a good sized pod, I think, huh? Okay, that's Sabrina opening in the pods and preparing for fermenting. We put them in we created organic boxes. Everything is done in an organic way. We open the pod, we put the beans in here, and then we have a converted refrigerator. Don't forget, this is a small family business. You know, we have a converted big refrigerator where the motor was taken out, and we have lights in there. The temperature goes to 120 degrees. And so it sits in there in the boxes for about 2 to 3 days, depending how they ferment. They become very fermented, icky, and gooey, and that's perfect. We want them to be able to do that. Let's see. I was going to mention something about that. Because what the fermenting does now, it activates the sugars. Just you know what fermenting does. It turns it into a sweetness. The inside of it, not the outside. After we ferment it, we dry the beans. Now we have different ways of drying it. If I'm in a hurry, these are nothing but drying machines. They're just the fans inside this little machine here. We can do it that way. Sometimes I would have 6 or 7 of them going at the same time. Or you put them on a table and put it out there. We have a tent set up where we will put the beans out there to dry. The problem with that there on Kauai, it rains a lot on Kauai. Mount Waialeale, it rains 365 days a year. It's the wettest spot on earth on the top of Kauai. So this is where we would dry the beans. Next step is roasting. Now, once we roast the beans, it's just like coffee roasting. We would put them in, we have a converted oven, or I would go to another one of these coffee roasting companies, and then they give me the opportunity to roast it for me. Because roasting is really important to get it just right. If you burn it, there's nothing you can do. If you don't roast it enough, you won't get any flavor. So now we're going, I've given you already, now what we've done is we've planted the tree, we've harvested it, we've taken the beans out, and once you've taken those beans out, you count the days. So it took a day to remove the beans and prepare them for fermenting. It takes 2 days to ferment them. It's going to take 2 days to roast them. And we got to that point. So how many days is that? 5 days already. Now we come up to, once they're roasted and they're nice and hard, what we need to do is crack the shell. So we have a couple of these things called a Frankenstein. And it is nothing more, don't forget, this is all family stuff. We just took a picture once in a while when we did this. So what it is it's a pan, and inside of it, it looks like a pencil sharpener, okay? So when everything goes in there and you crank it, it goes between the rollers, and it just cracks the seed. Cracks it. Next step, screening. That's Serena. This is a slower process, and what we would take the once they've been cracked, we put them onto this screening process, and we would spend a day doing this. And just the first step is to just take the major shells off, the shells that are really thick and heavy, and what goes in here are the smaller, thinner chaff, along with what you call nibs. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pass this around, okay? That is B. That comes from Bolivia. This comes from Kauai. I want you to take your spoon and put a little bit in your hand, put it in your mouth, make sure you have water, okay? Have you ever tried this? You know what nibs are?
I don't think so.
So we're going to go, you go this way and this goes that way. So try that and get an idea what real chocolate tastes like.
Less is more.
What's that? So like I said, what we're doing now is we're going to take the big chaff off. Gotta feel a little better doing that.
This is amazing. How many days? So I'm already at like
What's it?
it took 3 years just to plant.
Yes.
Now this whole process is like another.
It takes 3 years to 4 years before the seed starts to develop into a pod. All right? And that time, you're clearing the ground as well. If you don't forget, it took 6 months to clear the jungle. That was pure jungle. Okay? And they have something there called, in Hawaii, called guinea grass, field grass. It's grass that goes 6 inches a day. and gets hard and it's thick. You're constantly fighting that, getting that out of the way. Okay, what's next? This is called winnowing, okay? We have a winnowing machine. I don't know why it's only one half of the screen, but what this does is there a way to oh shoot, how do I get that to go back? How do I get that to go? Because it seems like you want to, can you help? Let me have that, I'll pass it around. Here you go. Try this. Have you tried it?
That's the first
You
one.
tried it? That's the first one?
It was good, Bob.
Huh?
It was good.
All right, did you try the Bolivia?
No.
Yeah, try the difference between Kauai and Bolivia.
Okay, which is better?
Which one is it? This one?
Go to the one after that.
This one?
That one, next one. Okay, that one's got to get that one to go.
Oh, you gotta play it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna play.
Okay. Play it.
It's playing.
It's not playing. Oh, here we go. Okay, so what we're doing here now, this is where we're gonna take the rest of the chaff is now going to be sucked out. It's very lightweight, so it's going to be sucked out into it goes into there, and you'll see in a second. That was my wife. That was Jean.
I didn't see her. I missed it.
Okay, and here's where we're going to go down here, and you're going to. These are the nibs. Now we're coming to the nibs. Okay, and that's what you're tasting right now. We finally got to that point where you now have real chocolate. Okay. Okay, we're doing it again. Huh?
This one.
Okay.
When did we get real chocolate?
Be nice, and you will. Okay, this gal right here, she was a special young lady. She is now a lawyer. Went to Columbia. From here, she went to Columbia University, and she became a lawyer, and I hear from her a lot. And what she's doing now is we're going to be using, because the nibs, see how coarse they are? You can't just now smash them up and to make a liqueur. So what we're going to do is use a typical old juicer, a regular juicer. And it's going to go like this. There's this is what we do. We take the nibs, we put them in the juicer, and this is what it looks like when those little things go through the juicer. Okay? What? That's chocolate. I know what you're thinking. All right? Because now we've got we're creating somewhat of a liqueur. And there's Sabrina using the juicer. Now we're going to go up. Now we're going to take that, now that we've collected that liqueur, and we're going to be using melangers. A melanger is nothing more than a steel drum, and inside the steel drum there are two granite wheels. The steel drum spins, and the granite wheels turn in the opposite direction, and it will create a very fine liqueur. You can see the wheels, okay, and how we put the chocolate into the melanger. Just shove it in there. And you can see how the wheels are turning.
Oh, can you hand that container, Dina? Yes. Oh, that one. Yes.
Okay. Next.
I like that.
This is, check it. Well, you got to, can you see this? Right here, what's that?
What did you just add?
That is sugar. Okay. Here's where I'll be mixing sugar. Actually, that was powdered milk. You can't use any liquid in this now. Everything has to be powdered. Even the vanilla we put in. Okay. Now I'm putting coconut sugar, making chocolate, coconut chocolate. Whatever didn't work out, we would take them and remelt them and do it again. And now, we're seeing here, we had 7 machines going at the same time. Okay, now we're getting close. Yeah. So what we got now is we now have the liqueur in the melanger. And in the melanger, what we've done is we wanted to make milk chocolate. You would be 50% chocolate and 25% milk and 25% sugar. And you would get a 50%, you would see 50% chocolate, milk chocolate. If you were going to do regular chocolate, which I'm going to hand out right now, I'm going to start passing this around. This is chocolate that actually comes from my farm. And the gal who bought my farm is learning how to do it. She doesn't have a certified kitchen yet. She can't live on the farm yet. But she's decided that she's going to start doing some things. So she's making this chocolate. She had a little mistake, a little faux pas. She sent me this chocolate, and she put little ice packets in there. That wasn't a very good idea, because what happens to chocolate when it gets cold, especially this chocolate, which is only chocolate, there's no other ingredients in there, it'll turn a little white and dry. So it may taste a little drier than it should, but she's still learning over there.
Is that what they call white chocolate?
No, white chocolate is just pure sugar. It's just pure sugar. There's hardly any chocolate. And Hershey's chocolate is pretty much all sugar. It's hardly and other ingredients. I'll explain more now with the tempering and why we temper it. It's the same reason why. Yes. Oh, it's the same reason why M&M's puts a coating on their chocolate, because they don't temper it. Okay. Tempering. Okay. Here's the final step in making the chocolate. This is called a chocolate a tempering box. This fella chocolate dude makes them all throughout Hawaii. It's nothing more than a pan, and the chocolate spins around in there at a temperature of 178 degrees. Okay? We get it up to 178 degrees. And what that does, and I'll tell you what that does. It changes the crystallization process of the chocolate. For example, how do I got it right here. I haven't done it in a long time. Okay. But I'm sorry, did I say 172? 127 degrees. Okay. 127 degrees. It gets it up to 170 degrees. And now the crystallization process in the chocolate begins to change. Okay? It begins to expand. Okay? You now have beta crystals, and it begins to expand with the heat. We put it in there for a day, and then we bring it down to 87 degrees. You bring it down to 87 degrees, and what that does, it now cools the beta crystals and begins to solidify the beta crystals. What that does now is once we pour it into bars, it will snap. If you don't do it right, the bar will just melt in your hand. Okay? So the idea is you don't do it right in this process, you got to start all over again. Okay? And so we pay special attention to doing this. It takes a whole day to just watch over this process. All right? And in here is where, if I'm making macadamia nut chocolate, I will put the mac nuts in this. If I'm making coconut chocolate, I would put the coconut sugar in this. We wouldn't use regular sugar, we would use coconut sugar. And the only sugar we used was cane sugar, right from the cane fields we would get. Okay? So it was all, don't forget now, this is all handmade, handcrafted sugar. Right from the beginning, everything was done small farm type with your hands. And that's different than having the big machines. All right? It's handcrafted chocolate. Is it good? Okay. And that's using the chocolate from our farm, even though it got dried out a little bit. So the tempering. Okay, so like I said, the first step was heating and stabilizes the crystals. Takes the fat crystals in coconut and separates them, and allows the fat crystals to form, tightly binding them. You get beta 5 crystals, and then when the tempering is not done properly, it won't be stable enough to snap, and the process will need to start over again. So we have now to the point where we're going to make chocolate bars. We're going to pour. And what we do, we pour it by hand, shake them up, put them in the refrigerator to dry, take them out for a couple hours, take them out, and then line them up.
How much do those bars cost? About $20?
I'll tell you. People would write me letters and call me and ask me if there was something magical about the glyphics, the hieroglyphics on there, the Aztec icons, and I would tell them, yeah, I was told yes there is, but actually I buy the molds from Italy. They just create them over there out of nothing. So we would take these bars and see. This is where now when I did coconut. You don't see it right now, but we would sprinkle dried coconut on the top, and every bar would add dried coconut on it, as well as coconut sugar in the bar. Okay. Huh? They're not making them. They're not making them for sale. I mean, right now she's just starting to get it going over there, and she doesn't have a certified kitchen, so she's not making them for sale. She's making them for friends and things. Yeah. So she's selling the not the chocolate, but she's selling the nibs to another business that is creating. There's a company there that bought my machines. And it's called Wild Kauai Chocolate. And it always pissed me off because it's not wild, and the chocolate she makes is not from Kauai, But in the meantime, she's giving it to them to make for her. So the bars are wrapped. We have wrapping parties, and the kids all get together, and I pay all the kids to wrap the bars. And it looks like this. What she has created is this. And she's not selling it. There's a whole story in here. Bars look like this. They're different than the bars I had. And you can see how what the coal did to the inside of the bar. It starts to look white. Okay. Okay, so you can see how it turned white a little bit. Okay. This is one of the displays that I would have. We sold our bars in various supermarkets, and then also some of the small health food stores. And it was all Kauai grown, single estate bean to bar. That meant single estate meant it was all created as grown and made and sold in the same spot.
How much would a bar sell for?
We sold our bars in the stores. Well, we sold our bars in the stores for $12 a bar. Okay. What?
What it cost you to make them?
It cost us about $4 a bar to make it. All right, but then again, I would have to sell them to the supermarkets for $8 a bar. All right, I would be getting $8 a bar.
So how much you pay me?
Huh? Everything was volunteer. You have to understand what it was like on Kauai. I had people coming. There was a girl living on my farm for 3 years before I knew she was living on the farm. She was a vet that didn't have a place to live, and I happened to pull up one day and I said, "What are you doing here?" She said, "I've been living here 3 years. Who are you?" I said, "I own this farm." And I found that she's become a really good friend. She was wounded in Iraq, all right, and she's a very interesting person. But anyway, we got to be friends. A couple of storms, I had to bring her to my house. She helped work on the farm. I had kids from all over want to come just to be there. I had kids on Kauai working on other farms came over just to be in the trees. They would come just to be in the trees and talk. They talk to the trees. They sing to the trees. They just love being there. All right. And I had a great time with them. You know, it was always music and dancing and happiness on the farms. Didn't make a lot of money, but then again, it was a part-time job. All right, I didn't depend on this. It paid for the $400 a month that was my AO fee. All right, and for the fun of growing it, I wanted to do the tours, but it got to the point where back then that there were so many problems with the subdivision. I'm getting calls today. Don't forget, not only did we buy the land back in 2007, we bought the land in 2007, but 6 years later, when the developer sold all the money, we formed an AOL. We had to redevelop, become contractors ourselves. We put the roads in, we put the water in, we put the electrical in, but every owner had to come up with $180,000 each lot to finish the project. So it was a matter of I didn't want to stay with it anymore, and so I sold everything and came here because Sabrina wanted to go to college here. I thought it's a great idea. So what we also made is we made cacao tea with maca. We took the residual of the powder when making the chocolate, and we made teas. And I created this little ad here. Sabrina did the artwork. All right, everything was family done. And then I also made slippers. In Hawaii, they're called slippers. All right, slippers. Here you call them flip-flops. This was a fun thing to do, but it took up a lot of chocolate to make those things. And so we sold them for $20 a box, and people didn't always buy them, but it was fun to do. So that's the presentation. That's how you made chocolate. It took over a week to make a bar of chocolate. Okay. Thank you very much. And we end our meeting with what?
We need to get the sign-up sheets back. Do you have a sign-up sheet for the colon cancer? You've got them. If you'll just hang tight to them, I'll get them over there.
Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to do this. We want to vote for the ugliest Hawaiian shirt. Who's got the weirdest Hawaiian shirt? Who get vote? Who? Once one of you guys gets the who?
The loudest. Yeah, not the ugliest, the loudest. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get some pictures while y'all are sitting here. We're not gonna get everybody. Okay.
Larry's shirt.
Hold on.
Okay, he gets a bar of chocolate.
All right, Larry.
You want to share with everybody?
Carl, smile.
All right.
Ladies.
I have one more. Who's got the prettiest shirt?
Me.
Yeah. One more. I mean, you guys got to vote. You guys have to vote here. Come on. Who?
Oh, I think Carl's